I'm going to make this as quick as I possibly can. I read this op-ed piece from the Washington Post from Liz Cheney, probably the only Republican out there who still has a soul in the GOP. Now, it's called "The GOP is at a Turning Point. The World is Watching Us." Yes, it is. It's watching you, and frankly, I'm going to read this to you, and honestly, I really don't know if I should feel sorry for this woman or think that she's completely naive. I'll leave that to you to decide, but here it is. In a public statement this week again, former President Donald Trump has repeated his claims that the 2020 election was a fraud and was stolen. His message: "I'm still the rightful president, and President Biden is illegitimate." Trump repeats these words now with full knowledge that exactly this type of language provoked violence on January 6th. And, as the Justice Department and multiple federal judges have suggested, there is a good reason to believe that Trump's language can provoke violence again. Trump is seeking to unravel critical elements of our constitutional structure that make democracy work, confidence in the results of elections, and the rule of law. No other American president has ever done this. The Republican Party is at a turning point, and Republicans must decide whether we are going to choose truth and fealty to the Constitution. In the immediate wake of the violence of January 6th, almost all of us knew the gravity and the cause of what just happened. We had witnessed it firsthand. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy left no doubt in his public remarks. On the floor of the House on January 13th, McCarthy said, and I quote, "The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding. Now, McCarthy has changed his story." I'm a conservative Republican, and most of the conservative values is reverence for the rule of law. Each of us swore an oath before God to uphold our Constitution. The Electoral College has spoken. More than 60 states and federal courts, including multiple Trump-appointed judges, have rejected the former president's arguments and refused to overturn the election results. This is the rule of law. That is our constitutional system for resolving claims of election fraud. The question before us now is whether we will join Trump's crusade to delegitimize and undo the outcome of the 2020 election, with all the consequences that it might have. I have worked overseas in nations where changes in leadership only come with violence, where democracy takes hold only until the next violent upheaval. America is exceptional because of our constitutional system guards against that. At the heart of our republic is the commitment to the peaceful transfer of power among political rivals in accordance with law. President Ronald Reagan described this as our American miracle. While embracing or ignoring Trump's statements might seem attractive for some for fundraising and political purposes, that approach would do profound long-term damage to our party and to our country. Trump has never expressed remorse or regret for the attack of January 6th, and now suggests that our election, our legal and constitutional system, cannot be trusted to do the will of the people. This is insanely harmful, especially as we compete on the world stage against communist China and its claims that democracy is a failed system. For Republicans, the path forward is clear. First, supporting the ongoing Justice Department's criminal investigation of the January 6 attack. Those investigations must be comprehensive and objective. Neither the White House nor members of Congress should ever interfere. Second, we must support a bipartisan review by a commission with subpoena power to seek and find facts. It will describe for all Americans what happened. This is critical to defeat the misinformation and nonsense circulating in the press and on social media. No current serving member of Congress, with an eye to the upcoming election cycle, should participate. We should appoint former officials, members of the judiciary, and other prominent Americans who can be objective, just as we did after the attacks on September 11th, 2001. The commission should be focused on the January 6 attacks. The Black Lives Matter and Antifa violence of last summer was illegal and reprehensible, but it's a different problem with a different solution. Finally, we Republicans need to stand for generally conservative principles and steer away from the dangerous anti-democratic Trump cult of personality. In our hearts, we are devoted to the American miracle. We believe in the rule of law, in limited government, in strong national defense, and in prosperity and opportunity brought by lower taxes and fiscal conservative policies. There is much at stake now, including the ridiculous wokeness of our political rivals, the irrational policies at the border, and the runaway spending that threatens a return to the catastrophic inflation of the 1970s. Reagan formed a broad coalition from across the political spectrum to return America to sanity, and we need to do the same now. We know how, but this will not happen if the Republicans choose to abandon the rule of law and join Trump's crusade to undermine the foundation of our democracy and reverse the legal outcome of the last election. History is watching. Our children are watching. We must be brave enough to defend the basic principles that underpin and protect our freedom and our democratic process. I am committed to doing that, no matter what the short-term political consequences may be. With all due affection for Liz Cheney, I have to disagree with a lot of this, but although a lot of it is true. We are at a turning point when it comes to the Republican Party. These people are willing to destroy democracy for Donald Trump. And right now, I keep hearing from Republicans how they're the party of the law, the party of the Constitution. These people are the same people that destroyed a man's career because he started the knee during the national anthem. Where was that anger now that this idiot Trump and his Republicans in Congress and the Senate are willing to destroy the backbone of our democracy because he lost an election? He still hasn't shown any kind of evidence that the election was rigged or stolen from him. And with respect to Liz Cheney, now's the time to stop trying to act like the Republican Party has a chance of rebuilding itself. It doesn't. I don't think it ever had a chance. Every time we hear about this big lie that the election was stolen from Donald Trump, and so many of the Republican Party are making excuses for him for bad behavior, for what happened on January 6th, it only reinforces the idea that the Republican Party is dead. There are no longer Republicans anymore. All they are Trump-ikins, for lack of a better term. Trumpers who want to destroy democracy at the expense of everything that we spent the last 240 some odd years building. And with respect to Liz Cheney, you can't be a Republican anymore. The time of the party of Abraham Lincoln and Ronald Reagan is dead. We have the party of Trump. Now you are one of the brave, very, 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 very brave few to speak out against Donald Trump and the big lie. I know there are more out there. They're just afraid that they'll lose their congressional seat or afraid of losing the endorsement from Donald Trump. Speak out. Not all of you are the Trump whores that you want to project yourselves as. And to it, I want to read one last thing. Now, I've quoted this before on my page plenty of times whenever I speak to a Republican. It's from Ulysses S. Grant, and it was written in April of 1861. Whatever my political opinions before, I have but one sentiment now, that we have a government and a laws and a flag, and they must be sustained. There are but two parties now, traitors and patriots. I want hereafter to be ranked with the latter, and I trust the stronger party. Again, that was Ulysses S. Grant, who wrote this before the Civil War. And he wrote that at a time where we did have, indeed, two parties, traitors and patriots. Right now, we have to get it through our heads. There are only two parties now, Trumpers and Americans. And like Ulysses S. Grant, in his spirit and the spirit of all those who came before me, I like to put myself in the latter party, and I trust the stronger party. That's the Americans. The rest of you Trumpers, you're gone. It's all over for you. You lost yourselves. Don't drag us in your private hell with you. You want to try and fight this another January 6th style attack? Be my guest, but know that no mercy will be coming towards you when it's over. And Donald Trump isn't going to do a damn thing to save you. Bank on it. And as for Liz Cheney, again, I applaud you for your bravery, but it's time for you to understand. The Republican Party, the party of Abraham Lincoln, the party of Ronald Reagan is gone. You have a chance to join the rest of us, Americans, fighting for this country. Choose wisely. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.